You started.
God rest
ye
ye
merry gentlemen,
that
ye
but
need
but
smoke.
remember Christ our Savior.
All right, there we go. That's
Christmas Day.
plenty of pain.
Special.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I knew all the words.
That's
She was
excellent.
really
That is
into it. I didn't
that is
know
my
any of the
favorite
words.
Christmas
Smarter
carol. But we need to start, and we've just talked about that in the new year. We're going to have a real podcast again with music.
Yes.
Matt
A real
kind of
podcast.
lost his computer. He
I
went
did.
to the dark side and got a Mac.
Got a Mac.
Totally
Oh.
sold out. And since he's gotten a Mac, we haven't had any music yet. But anyway, hey everybody, Doug Fields with Matt, Josh, and Natalie. We have our lovely little podcast that has been inconsistent of late, but we are back, and this will
Christmas
be our
special.
last
Yeah.
one before
Yeah.
the new year, and then. In the new year, Matt is already committed. Matt's the one we're all revolving around.
Yeah,
has
that's
always
right.
revolved
That's
around
why
that.
I got
Now
in
we're
today
finally
at
getting
9:15,
it
and now we're starting at 10:15.
Well,
Actually, you were in at 9:05. You sat in your car for a really long time.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Thank
There you
you.
have
Well
it.
done.
do we want to talk about why we sat for a while?
Oh my gosh, these guys spent 45 hours trying to scare people today, and it wasn't even orchestrated well.
Well,
It
there
was
was
fun.
there was a concerted effort
Yes.
to try to scare me as I walked into the.
We parked around the back and
And
tried not
what
to
was the
let,
parking around the back for? That I wouldn't
so that
think
you
you were
wouldn't see our
here.
cars and you wouldn't think we're here.
Okay.
Then it backfires though because then you don't have any urgency to come up here because no
Yeah.
one's here.
It
Right.
worked
So-
with Josh, but then Jack told Josh that we were up here.
Yeah, it was the best. So they tried to scare me when I came in. I'm like,
Yeah.
weird. Nobody's here.
That
yet.
one
Andy's
worked.
always here.
Yeah.
And then Jack told me downstairs.
Yeah.
It was the
Oh, see, I thought we were starting late because Josh didn't print out any questions.
No,
Yeah,
that's not true.
That's
That is
part of
not
it.
True.
Yeah, he spent all the time trying to scare me and other people.
But
Ah.
in my defense, my hard drive did crash, so it made it very difficult.
That is
So-
Hard
And I
drives
will
never
vouch for
crash on a
that.
Mac.
And as long as you have a voucher, anything is valid.
Just
Hey,
kidding.
how
There
about a
you
little
go.
update, Matt?
Voucher.
How's your Raise Your Own Support, Start a Church,
Oh,
Feed a
we-
Home, RevCom? What's it called?
It's called Renovation.
Renovation.
Renovation Church.
Renovation.
Renovationchurch.com and .org.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Got both.
And
Renovation as in like rebuilding.
As in renovate.
All right.
Yes.
Nice.
It's
as in
fancy.
renovating our souls.
Yes.
Wow.
Is there a lot of hardwood
Yes.
and upgrades?
Yeah,
There
and, like,
is.
the
You actually have
stress
to go to
ceilings.
Restoration Hardware to be a part of this church.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good update.
Yeah.
Josh,
How's it going?
you and I were in Indianapolis
That was
last
fun.
week.
Yeah.
We got to see the site of the convention center.
Got
Matt,
to look inside the RCA Dome, which is
What's
very
that?
fun.
You got to see the convention center. Why is that a big deal?
well,
it's
for
That's
Matt,
a huge
Yeah.
deal.
Why?
For me.
well, because we were going to do a conference there, February
Oh.
9th to 11th.
you know, that
That's
little
awesome.
detail.
Yeah.
So you guys went out to visit the conference center?
Yeah, me
Yeah.
and Josh and Brazel.
And we're back. Hi,
Now we're
everybody.
really bad.
Literally, we're really
For the
bad.
first time in podcast history, we have edited something out of the show.
We had to.
Did you see it? It was quick. Roll it back, and we're back.
All right. So anyway,
was-
yeah,
I said something so over the
We
line.
went there to check out. We went there to
So
check out the
heinous.
rooms, and we got to stand at the field
It was
and
cool.
look at the field,
Yeah.
and we shot a little podcast deal, and so
Yeah.
it was very fun.
Now you said something while we were there. Said we're going to do a podcast from Indianapolis. So does that mean Matt, you're going to join us in a few months, or is this going to
Maybe.
be?
Yeah,
You
we
should.
haven't
Yeah.
even talked to Matt about it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But I
after
think
Will
we
you
having
should-
guys
to edit
fly
this
me out?
one, I'm
I'm
not
raising
sure.
my own support, so I don't really have a whole lot of flying
yeah, we'll
money.
fly you out. Maybe we can fly you out, and then people that listen to the podcast, you could give them donor letters.
Oh,
Oh,
I like
that'd
it.
be nice.
Yeah,
Matt's going on a
people
missions
love that.
Yeah,
people love
youth-
when people
youth-
raise support to start churches.
Yeah, and youth pastors always have tons of money to
Absolutely.
give.
If
Yeah.
you're at the end of the year and you have some extra money you'd like to give away,
That's
Matt,
right. Well, speaking of money, we have a legitimate money email here. Should
Okay,
we start
go.
with this?
all right.
Oh, wow. That was a good
Patrick
Nice
Foster,
transition.
thank you for thinking of me at Christmas time. Wants to give me money for Christmas. Wants to give me World of Warcraft money, which is so delightful. Needs to know the name, my screen name, and my server name, which is very, very important. Screen name Gerbil Slayer, spelled just how it sounds, Gerbil Slayer, and the server is Blackhand, just how that sounds.
So someone is going to give
This
you
is
World
so
of Warcraft
disturbing.
This is a dude. His sister works at a company that it's a website that they actually sell World of Warcraft gold and all that stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
But you need to know what server I'm on, Blackhand, and what my character name is,
Gerbil Slayer.
So you're
Just
getting-
like it's spelled.
So she can send me.
But
just
what
like
I
it
love
sounds.
about this is this guy's from Germany.
No, he's been listening
Pat
to us.
Foster's greetings from Germany.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, you just
Way to
listened to the
catch
part
the
that was
details.
about you. I want,
Yeah, well, I didn't
want
get that
money
far.
for Gerbil Slayer.
Well,
All right,
that's
that's
right.
good
This
youth
is a
ministry
good-
content. Just
yeah.
enough youth ministry to keep you alive.
All
What's
right,
our deal?
Here's youth
Hey,
ministry.
didn't
Ready,
we get
go.
a box?
We did. We were going to open it on the show. Andy, where'd you put
Please be something inappropriate in the box.
We don't know. It is sealed.
It's from Group.
Uh-oh. We need a knife. Does anyone have a knife?
I
You
have
don't
a
need a
pen.
knife.
And-
You just need to not be weak.
We're opening this box live on the podcast. Let's see who it's from.
That's legitimately funny.
Indiana. Mishawaka, Indiana. No name, but it says to the podcast crew.
Okay, why don't we go to a question while you
All right.
guys work on the
She
box,
opens
since
it.
we are so well prepped on this.
Well, it had to be sealed,
since
though.
we haven't been around, here's a couple on the top of the list. From Matthew Hart. Yeah, I know I was way late. I even watched Andy pack the packages before I watched the podcast. That sure does teach me to stay up to date with the podcast. This was about the last time we were on. Have we done an email? Oh, wait, we can stop everything for that.
Look at this.
Oh, please
Clothing.
be something
I
extra
love-
fat for me.
I love.
2XL, baby. Look.
Two? You wear two?
Oh my
Only
gosh!
2XL.
Amazing from Bethel College.
Oh, goodness.
Medium.
Okay, here
Medium
we
is
do this.
yours.
Aren't they hair techs?
That is so fun.
We're going to edit the show a second time now.
They really sent it.
XL.
Hey, don't be
Look at
throwing
all this
anything
stuff.
Andy's way.
I'm not. I'm just putting it the only empty spot on the
This
table.
is a legitimately cool sweatshirt.
Oh, chapel
look at
band.
this jacket.
Okay, here we go.
Large. That's Fields.
All right, let's read. Let's
Oh,
read
there's a
this.
card?
Or Brazel. This could be Brazel's.
Okay.
Do you want a jacket?
Let's.
This is the
Sorry.
Bethel podcast now.
All right,
love it.
sponsored by Bethel College in Indiana. This is now the podcast Bethel. Dear Doug, Matt, Natalie, and Josh. Wow, thanks Natalie and all
Thank
you all for the big promo on the podcast, episode 36. That was very fun. You asked for some freebies, and we wanted to oblige that request. Wait a second.
That's amazing.
Don't be throwing jackets his way, Josh. First of
I
all,
gave you a t-shirt.
I don't want a T-shirt. I want the jacket. You didn't prep the podcast. You didn't open the box. No.
This says open first.
open.
Look at this one, though.
Should I read this?
This is the legit item
This
right
is
here.
the legit item. And
$45 sweatshirt.
That's what I want right here.
It's
he
awesome.
doesn't
Toss
even want
it.
it.
Toss it. Toss it.
even want
Toss
it.
it. No.
Brazel,
Wait,
you get nothing.
Brazel, come on.
Brazel, you get nothing.
All right. Did we open this?
Go buy a mountain bike.
All right, here it is. To my dearest podcast friends. This is a long one, but because he sent
This is the gayest one anyhow.
jacket,
Brazel.
no,
If
it's a perfect
anybody's-
jacket. I was just telling Kathy the other day I need a jacket from Bethel. Doug, inside you will find a Bethel jacket, gray and black. Also, you'll find a Bethel college hat that you can wear for your shows when your daughter criticizes your bald spot reflection. Lastly, there's a Bethel College Chapel Band CD to add to your library. Matt,
right.
let me just say I could have been in prayer a long time now and never thought that this kind of salvation could occur. But when you announced you were getting a Mac, I couldn't help but find myself in tears. Prayer works. God has forgiven your PC ways, and you have crossed to the
Politically
good
correct.
side. We have given you a couple Bethel t-shirts to take with you to your new job. Congrats and good luck. Josh, you also find some Bethel shirts in the box. I have enjoyed your blog and contribution to the podcast. It was fun seeing you at YS. Thanks for your insight on the podcast, your updates on the website. It's always nice to find the links of some things mentioned during the show. May the force be with you. You
Oh,
still do the
good man.
links?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We will start again this week.
Natalie, thanks for following up with the shout-out request. We have included a nice hoodie sweatshirt for you to wear when it's too cold down there to go along with the cool
Unbelievable.
hat that started all of this. You brighten up the show, and I love all your graphics. Keep up the good work. On behalf of Bethel, which is now our proud sponsor of today's podcast,
All you have to do is send in a few shirts.
we are extremely grateful for all the hard work you guys do to make our lives easier. We love Simply Youth Ministry, your resources, and your podcast. Please don't stop doing what you're doing. I'm trying to see if I can get down to Indianapolis in February to see you guys. If
Fun.
not, I'm sure it will be great. And also, this is sent from this was from Seth Bartlett and Terrence Linhart, PhD, is the associate professor of youth ministry. I know him as Terry Linhart. So anyway, nicely done.
That
Bethel
was
comes through.
amazing.
That's good.
Feedback I would give them is they know that Matt is a large man, and they know that I'm just under Matt's size, and the largest they have is XL.
Oh, that's perfect for me.
Wait a minute, maybe
XL.
they don't have any
They
double or
seriously,
triple?
XL is the.
You know,
No, they got
There you
double
go.
right.
Maybe-
Let me see.
maybe you
Yeah,
guys
they
look.
got double
Maybe
right.
you guys look thinner on camera.
Even more. We must.
I love
must be.
my
Yeah, they got plenty of doubles.
All right, let's keep going.
I'm ready to go.
In episode 36, did the light
That
shine in
whole
your eyes?
segment,
No.
I didn't say very much.
Matt
Let's do
Adams. Matt Adams, youth pastor, Trinity Bible Church, Lafayette, Louisiana. I got an iPod for my birthday, November 1st, and listened to all 36 podcasts.
Oh, my goodness.
I just got caught up yesterday, December 6th.
Oh my god.
You have been so encouraging and helpful. I have fun listening and have the feeling I'm not alone. Keep going. I miss Jake. I hope he comes back soon. Wow.
Very
Oh,
nice.
good.
Mackenzie Mullins,
We do too.
San Angelo, First Assembly of God at San Angelo, Texas. I just want to thank you guys for the podcast. In the midst of a quarter-life crisis consisting of two
Huh?
friends committing suicide
You don't know
and
how
my
long your
dad
life-
losing his job while accumulating a mountain of credit card debt, the podcast is the only thing that keeps me going through the day.
How
You
about
guys
Jesus?
are amazing and have a huge impact on me. Thank you so much, Matt.
Quarter life. What is a quarter life crisis? Just
Not a midlife,
Not just
so
like
that would be like 40 to
25.
50, so this person's probably in their early
25.
20s. All right, here's a question from Jimmy Scott. Jimmy Scott, we have now dubbed you the most prolific podcast email writer.
Is Mackenzie a guy or a girl? Could it be both?
Possibly.
This guy has written in with literally a dozen or so questions.
So when
don't
I
know,
walked
maybe
in
more.
this morning and Josh had not prepared the show, printed out the emails since that was his job the last time.
He could have done it over the weekend. That's
Yeah,
what he was
but it's
supposed
hard.
to
It's hard crash
do. No,
drive.
his hard drive crashed last week.
Yeah, but it's Josh.
Have I said already that Mac hard drives don't crash?
Yeah.
Yeah, twice.
So he comes in, he hands me a list of emails that I guess we haven't used back from November, and they're all written by Jimmy Scott.
They're all from
and
the
they-
same
And you know
guy.
what? Here's the deal. While I was waiting for you to print out some new ones, I read them. They're excellent questions.
Oh, excellent. Are we going to use some today?
I think we should use one right now.
One. Let's do it.
No,
Here
we'll
we
use
go.
two. We'll use two. I have two,
Nice.
but then I filed another. We're going to just start a Jimmy Scott file.
We have a podcast email
that
and then
your
Jimmy
file?
Scott.
Jimmy Scott file.
I don't know.
crack on.
We need to
Yeah.
reevaluate
Is it the
this
issue for
show
today?
afterwards. I think I'm going to start prepping the show again.
Jimmy Scott file.
When did that stop? And when did your amazing heavenly organization system stop? How
Matt,
did I?
we should do a little
did-
series on how this podcast has been prepped over the 37 episodes. Because I started, then Matt said he could do a better job, then he did a really good job, then I took it back, then Josh said,
I think
I'll
we
do
just
it. Josh
covered
did it
it.
once.
And it was
and
fantastic.
yeah, and we
You know
assumed Josh was doing it again.
See, assumed. What about Natalie?
I know,
She's
I know.
not- she's
No,
not doing much.
you're right. We assumed you were going to work. All right.
Wait a minute. How many goats have we bought?
I don't know. 10.
Okay. See, Josh is doing something.
Bingo.
Jimmy Scott writes, he was listening to a tape from Bill Hybels and Bobo
tape?
Shears when they were
Yeah,
talking the
just
Be
thinking
With
the same thing.
Factor book. And Bill Hybels commented that on his early days he would go to Friday night basketball games and go out to eat with students afterwards, but not consider this his work time. He says, I look at my roles and goals and would not even consider telling my wife that on top of my 45 to 50 hours a week, I'd be going to a basketball game and eat out with students.
Yeah.
Shed some wisdom on this. Should my time with students be considered work time? My response to that is absolutely. I love
Yep.
love Bill Hybels. Respect him as one of the. I love what he does,
Well, we
but
don't
I
know the
would
point he
disagree
was
with him on
making,
that.
and we don't know the point he was making
Right.
with that when
Yeah.
he doesn't consider.
And he
his
may
work.
have been single, and that was
Well,
his
or
whole
he-
life is hanging out with
Yeah,
kids.
I mean, or he might have been saying is that that's not a time that drains him, or that's not a stressful time like work is. But
Yeah, I just
but-
my thing is I would if I went to
Yeah.
a basketball game, absolutely it's work hours. I would even go to the point if I had a budget in my church and I paid to go to a basketball game,
Yeah.
I would take that and get reimbursed. for
Totally.
that if I could.
Yeah, work less hours during the week. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if
Write
if
it
your
all
wife-
down. You know, one
If your wife doesn't, I mean, if you said I can't even think about telling my wife I'm going to a basketball game, then spend, the day you're going to a basketball game, don't go into the office till 11 o'clock that day,
yeah.
or 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Make it up.
Well, one of the lessons I learned at my first church that I was at for a long time, when people were very always wondering where people were and things like that. I just learned to write everything down. It's so easy now. For me anyway,
Yeah.
with an Outlook computer, I just go in conversations,
Yeah.
write everything down. Because if anybody was going to accuse us of anything, okay, prove where I was. I've got record in my
Yeah.
computer of wherever I was, who I was with. Write it down.
Well, I've dealt with bosses who don't think I work for a long time, so I've done the same thing.
That's great. So what have you done?
I don't know. I wrote it down.
What have you done for me lately?
No,
What
the
have you
question
done
is,
for
what have
me
you done
now?
for the podcast?
What have you done for the podcast?
Yeah.
I had a
Jimmy
busy
Scott, a second question, he says, there's a lot of good books to read. How do I prioritize what is important? Here are my thoughts. I have 4 topics that I like to read about: leadership, ministry, marriage and family, and personal growth. So he says, under these 4 topics, I list books to read. And I think that's great.
Yeah, I think he's
Matt
doing a
would
better
add
job than
fiction.
me, so.
What's
Yeah.
that?
I think he's doing a better job than me, so that sounds like a great system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I-
have 4 kinds of blogs you like to read.
4 kinds of blogs and Star Wars books.
Have you read a
That's
book?
it. One time. I
You
read
don't
What
even
Matters
read
Most.
Star Wars
I read
books.
What Matters Most.
Well, now
And then I
That's
had to make
barely a
time-
book, though.
That
It's
was
like
the right-
500 words.
that was the right thing to say.
Yes, yes.
I would probably add on this. I would probably add something related to a biblical reference book. If you're really thinking about
Yeah.
reading ministry wise, that leadership great, ministry great, but maybe a commentary, something.
Hey, I just read a great leadership book,
Did you?
Starfish and the Spider.
Oh yeah, you were
The
telling me
Power
about
of
it.
Leaderless Organizations.
Yeah. Why was it great?
It was great because it talked about how to decentralize what you're doing. You still, at the end, it talks about keeping some stuff centralized so you don't have mass chaos, but
Yeah.
it's a good book.
It's great.
There you go. Add that to your list, Jimmy.
I got to read 3 books this weekend.
Really?
Yes.
That's fun.
Wow.
Yeah. We went away to the mountains and just hung out.
The kind of books you want to read, or the kind of books you have to read?
No, want to read. I'm in the
That's
want to read
great.
portion of my
Did
life.
they have a
Yeah.
fireplace? You just kicked it in
Yep.
front of the fireplace?
Yep.
With or without a pipe.
No pipe.
Do you have a blanket over your lap? I
I-
always picture you reading with a blanket over your lap.
You do?
More of an
Yeah.
Afghan.
Whenever I'm just randomly picturing you reading. A pipe, and that's good. I like it.
Yep.
And a crackling fireplace. and
Yeah,
you're reading.
Big Bear, California.
Which
It
one?
rained, it rained, and the rain turned to snow. That's what happens in the mountains, and it
nice.
snowed. It was just awesome.
Chestnuts roasting.
feel like
fire, fire.
Christmas song
On
break
an
right
open
now.
fire.
Yeah, maybe
Open
Natalie
fire.
can
No,
insert
it's
when
more of
Any
a
other
sing-
questions
Yeah.
from Jimmy? Or
It's a
No,
sing-
well, Jimmy's got a lot more questions.
Okay.
I
So what
kinda
3
read
books
her.
did you read?
I read The Seasons of Life, which The Season of Life, which is a great football book, and it's about a
We
high
were
school.
talking about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
high school coach
Yes.
who used to be in the pros. He's a pastor. He now volunteers, and it's a different way of caring for kids and teaching them how to become men. It was an excellent book. I read Andy Stanley's book. Actually, I read his second half of his book. The first half was kind of an allegory of how these principles were used. I kind of read the first and skipped to the second half.
I do that too.
Yeah, and
Screw
it was
the
A
allegory.
new book or
it was called Preaching for Life Change.
Oh,
It was really
Mm.
good, really good, and a Dave Barry Christmas book.
Nice.
Yeah.
Eric
He's
and I have
very
been
fair.
reading Creating an Intimate Marriage by Jim Burns.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Oh,
we
is it
really
good?
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you guys read it together? Do you read it out loud? Do you hold each other?
We hold each
Where do you
other
sit? There's a
while
fireplace.
reading it. We're actually going through it with a small group of young couples.
Oh, so
Oh,
you're not
that's
really
awkward.
reading it and being intimate.
Not at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, doesn't your mother have a lot to say about intimacy?
Oh wow.
My mother or my mother-in-law
Oh, it was your mother-in-law?
that got me the book.
No. Didn't your mother say something? Something came up in an earlier podcast.
Yeah.
I
That was
remember that.
She spoke at
uncomfortable
moms.
about your
Yes.
mom and sex and
And
something
she
like that.
said something
And here we are again. It's now episode 37.
inappropriate, but not inappropriate for a room full of women.
Right.
Just
There you go.
inappropriate to now be talking about
Yeah.
it.
And even just
And I still don't. We still don't even know what it is she said.
That's true.
I do.
Doug
Oh,
does.
you do?
he was there.
Yeah.
It's a long-
Word spread. Let's put
Yeah.
it that way. Word spread amongst the women, and got back to husbands. It was awesome.
Uh,
All right. Here's an email from Jay Beerley, minister of students, First Baptist Church, Jolton, Tennessee.
Way to give us all the details.
Wow.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he go to Bethel College?
I can now hold this drink while people read.
Here we go. Basically, the essence of this question is his pastor does it all. In terms of they've got about 800 to 1,000 people in their church, the pastor does it all. So therefore, he doesn't feel like when he delegates and empowers other volunteers to do ministry that his pastor appreciates that. Make sense?
Oh, pastor sees him as a slacker?
Well, it says the church is used to ministers doing it all. How do you convey the need when maybe they don't have the overall example in the church of people being effective ministers?
It's a good question.
It's a great question.
You could kill the pastor.
That's one way.
buy him a Christmas gift. book on how to develop volunteers.
Well, here's I don't have a lot of hope in situations like this, and partly because leaders expect people on their team to value what they value.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Yeah.
do ministry like me, but you know, if we value relationships, I want people on my team that value relationships. If this senior pastor values that the lead minister does it all, you don't have to
Yeah.
do it all like I do. You just have to, you know, that's going to be a tough value to change in that culture.
Yeah.
I personally believe that getting other people involved in ministry is one of those things that I would die for. So that would be a non-negotiable for me.
Don't you think the beauty of it is, though, is the senior pastor, I mean, they're probably going to burn out sooner rather than later anyhow, and you don't have to worry about it. Because if they're doing it all in a church of 1,000, they're not going to make it long term.
So that's kind of the advice I gave.
So
Just
hang-
wait for him to
Hang
die.
in there. Yeah,
But that's not necessarily true, Josh. People
Yeah, no,
hang
people get
around
into a
and
rhythm and
Right.
they
It
learn.
takes a long time to bleed out.
they
I
don't
get it.
have, you know, they don't have a personal life, they don't have a healthy spiritual life all the time, or they've learned to, you know, work 90 hours a week and do it all, and you know.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right.
I just think that's a very difficult culture to change. But the principle, I think, of learning on this is that when you go to work for somebody, you need to know what they value.
Right.
And when you sense what they value, they're going to expect you to value those things.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it like them, but you
Do you
need
think you
to
should
show
coach your volunteers, though, and say, hey, we're doing this event, but I'm going to be out of town, and so it's yours to run, and you can try to work from at least your top down? Or do you think, just give up and do it all yourself?
What I would do in a situation like this, if I was Jay, I would do the right thing. And the right thing is, I'm going to get other people in the game. And
Exactly.
potentially, seeing that work in a
Yeah.
youth ministry setting might have some type of upward influence. Now, it may
Well-
also cost him his job, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I think he's convinced that he needs to do this. His question is how,
Yeah.
which we really haven't answered.
Well, I just answered it. I just said if I was Jay, I would.
I would do that, but that's what he's asking. How do you do? How do you do that? If the people, if there's a culture of the church that says don't get involved, how do you get them involved?
No, he's saying, he's not asking how do you get them involved.
Oh, he's saying should he?
He's saying, you know, how do you convey the need when maybe they don't have the overall example.
Yeah.
So I think he's got 50 or 60 youth, he says, and he can't handle all the relationships, obviously.
Yeah.
So he gets other people involved. He may not be appreciated for that philosophy. He may lose his job on that, but I think that's the right thing to do. So those kids are ultimately, you know, cared for.
Yeah.
And his workers
Yeah.
are being used and finding ministry and becoming the next Andy Brazeltons of the world.
One last thought. It might be worth it to ask the senior pastor, what does he view, you know, as if full-time staff or whatever are trying to prepare the people, prepare the church for works of service, what does he see that as? And to try and get him to answer that. And maybe he does value that, but he's just not doing a good job of it.
So go into his office, Pastor.
Yeah, and just say, help me. How could
Help
I
me understand Ephesians 4.
how could I do this better in my ministry?
Awesome.
Blake Thompson, First United Methodist Church, Clinton, MS. What is MS?
Mississippi?
In Massachusetts?
Oh, wow.
Really?
Is it Massachusetts?
No, Massachusetts is MA. Montana's MO. But what is Missouri?
Oh.
Michigan is MI.
I would think that Missouri would be MO.
What did you say it was? Mississippi?
Yeah.
Is Mississippi a state
MT
or a
is
river?
Montana. Ooh, MO is Missouri.
Thank you.
MI is Michigan. MS is Mississippi.
You're wrong.
There, I think I just answered.
Oh my god.
You're from Michigan and
I
you're
just-
wrong.
I just answered it for you.
It took me a little while,
I just
That's
much like
right.
prepping the podcast.
Way to go. Way to get that right now.
Have you
True
prepped?
job,
Have you
Natalie.
prepped the
Thank you.
podcast?
Thank you.
Josh has prepped the first week of January podcast.
Yeah, I'm
That's
so
right,
far ahead. I
right.
didn't realize we were going to do a show today. I did January's already. My bad.
Okay, that's funny.
So the emails that went around on Friday saying
Yeah, the
they
9
had-
emails I've
Yeah,
got from Josh
missed
about
those.
Missed those.
let's do a
Okay.
podcast.
I care
See,
about
Josh
the
just
show.
likes to be here during
He
the
wants
podcast.
to do the podcast. He doesn't want to do the work of the
Get free
podcast.
stuff. Send your. Read my blog. Just a commercial. That's all.
Well, interesting because Blake writes a decent paragraph of saying he wants to do a podcast within his youth ministry. How do you set up your podcast?
Awesome.
So haven't we answered this before?
Well, the easiest way is just go to google.com and type in, I want to start a podcast. There's some great tutorials on Apple.com and especially CNET, and they'll walk you right through it.
All right.
So, and
It's
Matt-
fixed.
Matt will break stuff while we talk.
Yeah, we would have some. We never got our 8-banger.
No, I
Deal,
was
did
hoping
we?
that's
Are
what
we
was in the box.
still
I was
talking
hoping
about
there was going to
that?
be an 8-banger, but
Yeah.
Now we can't have guests.
I like
I
the
am
T-shirts.
much
But
more
what if there
excited
was a
about
Bethel
what-
College soundboard in there?
Yeah. Maybe instead you can send the 8-banger to our church since we don't have one.
Oh, or donate money. Rencom.com.
But if you're going to do
Ooh,
house
whatever.
churches, do you really need a sound system?
No,
Right?
not really.
No.
Not
You could do a 1-banger in a house,
renovation.
couldn't you? You
Probably.
Could, you could do a Mickey microphone.
You could just do a little sing-along mic.
Lovely.
All right.
We
Hey,
just-
Doug, I ran across, this is from Russ Thiesens, Director of Students and Children's Ministry in Cincinnati, Ohio. I ran across a blog made by youth pastor Steve Nelson from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and he's thinking about writing a book called What the Follicle Were We Thinking? A book on pastoral hair.
It's funny.
One of the highlights in his forthcoming bestseller is his comment on your hair. We got three
Oh, wow.
emails about this blog.
And related to your hair, no less. This is good.
Well, about this specific one, it says Doug Fields, just look at his hair. This is a prime example of how to age gracefully. Doug gives me hope that as I get older, I can still look good. Maybe not good enough to have other youth workers gasp in awe at the very mention of my name, but good enough to making losing my hair not appeal to be such a big deal. Not only does he comment on your hair, but other pastors do as well. It's pretty funny, man.
Oh, well,
Pretty
what's the
funny,
blog?
man.
Does he give the URL?
Yeah, and he
Man,
gives-
that's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny. So anyway, that's
Oh, wow. All right,
more-
we'll link to that, I guess.
more hair comments.
It's one of those things you have to read, apparently, and see.
What the follicle are we thinking about?
Yeah.
That makes me think of another word.
Morning to dancing.
Jeff Smith.
Thanks.
Now, how about a name like that? Jeff Smith.
It's
I
like
know
plain
Jeff
rap.
Smith.
Very
I know
common.
two.
Well, you know 3 now.
Not now. I know 3.
Very common name, but listen to what church he's from. Shiloh Pentecostal Holiness
Mm.
Church.
That was awesome. Hi, Jeff.
Wilson, North Carolina. Natalie ding me anyway.
I'm
For the
wondering if
past
he
couple of
speaks in
years,
tongues.
It's like a little anemic.
I'm not allowed to hold it.
they do this fundraiser. I'll cut to the chase. They do the fundraiser. They're not gonna. They've actually got a budget now, but they're gonna take their fundraiser money and they're gonna buy goats, and we're purchasing them
Oh,
through
good.
Samaritan's Purse, Franklin Graham. They have many other items you can buy to send to a family in need in a third world country. Right now, we can afford a dairy goat and a dozen chicks.
Nice.
Yeah,
Prostitution?
chickens.
Oh,
Not
chickens.
grown up.
And we've edited the show twice now.
Hey, I watch each
No.
podcast while telling myself I can get other things done at the same time.
Not true.
Thanks for an hour of good times. Oh, shout out to Andy. I met him at the National Youth Workers Convention in Charlotte. He was
Charlotte.
skipping out one of the general sessions.
Andy.
I guess that
Yeah.
means I was too.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, Jeff
caught.
Smith. Hey, what is our eBay
awesome.
update?
We don't have anything on eBay right now.
Why don't we put some Bethel shirts?
Bethel shirts. I love it. All right, here we go.
Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll do some Bethel. I'm sure that the guys, Terry Linhart and other
They would
guys,
be
they would be
honored, yes.
happy to
We-
contribute to our
Called
goat fund.
spreading the love.
It
called
is.
marketing dollars at work.
We are not gonna give away this one though. This is a nice.
and we're not going to
Yeah.
give away Natalie's.
I was literally, I
I'm a
was
little jealous. Of
up in the
Natalie's
mountains this weekend. It was snowing. I thought it'd be nice to have a jacket. Living in Southern California, now I have a Bethel College jacket.
That is a nice.
Very
jacket.
excited about that.
story. I'm excited about my T-shirt.
Is there a bunch of Bethel colleges? Is there just one?
There's one in, yeah, I guess the one
If
we
he
used to live
can't
by.
get to Indianapolis and he's in Indiana, that's not very good.
I think he can.
He'll
I
be
think
there.
he can. I'm gonna
Bethel
wear.
College will be.
I'm gonna
will be
wear
there.
his stuff there. Hey, this is for Matthew McNutt, Booth Bay
Oh,
Baptist Church,
biggest
Booth Bay,
loser.
Maine. What are you calling him?
The Biggest Loser. Matthew, he was here in LA
M.E..
for the live finale of.
Yeah,
Biggest
the live
Loser.
finale is next Wednesday, December 13th.
That means it was 3 days ago. Congratulations.
Oh,
He
Mish
didn't
totally
win.
watched that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
says
did.
I'm actually winging my way to LA tomorrow night. See if Josh was updating this stuff, if he got the emails, if he was prepping. We'd have known this. We could have done a Matthew McLoser
I asked him.
podcast.
I asked him to come today, and he had already left.
Yeah, well, it was a week ago.
I
Josh.
asked him to come last week, but he couldn't make it down.
He dropped another 25 to 30 pounds.
Wow.
He says, heck, it's live TV. Live TV. Maybe I can slip a chim into the conversation. I have 20 million viewers scratching their heads. I think I'd get the prize for the most chim exposure. Matthew McNutt is a nice guy.
he's a good dude.
youth worker. He was on the NBC's hit television show, The Biggest Loser.
Yes.
We watched it one night when they brought the guys back to the
Back
fat
to the
farm,
ranch, yeah.
and then he did not win,
Yeah,
and so I
too bad.
stopped watching it. So I
He
only
is-
watched it that one episode.
He is a little shell of the man he used to be. I mean, he used to be a big.
Wasn't he
boy.
like 350?
Yeah.
And he's now down
Now
to
he's-
115,
It's un-
something
Yeah.
like that.
It's unbelievable. He is so skinny.
You were just about to make me feel very self-conscious.
He's a good man.
130
Matthew,
is
if
very
you could send us an
respectable.
NBC shirt, that'd be great. Simply Youth Ministry staff, as a citizen of Alaska, I'm slightly insulted by the fact that you have a flat rate for the lower 48 states.
Oh, that's
was
an
a-
Andy call right
I was
there.
about to place a huge order that could
You
have
know
helped
what?
send Doug's daughter to college, but since I'm not eligible, I think I'll hold off. I feel that I'm being discriminated against because I have a pet
Oh.
polar bear and live in an igloo.
Oh, wow.
It's okay. I don't think your resources would have worked in my computers made of ice and snow. Oh well. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. God bless.
That guy should just go and put another
Daryl
word for snow.
Nelson
This is the point where
from
either
Anchorage Baptist Temple.
we either are really going to make fun of him or we're going to send him whatever he wants for free. I don't know which is going to happen, but
I
I,
don't
can
think
tell
we
you.
do either. I just go, why are we charging more to get to Alaska? Andy? It just costs more.
Yeah, because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Here
Yeah.
it comes. What are we going to do?
He already said. He
No,
said
we're doing
nothing.
something. He's not going to let this go with just shipping.
Josh,
really?
this doesn't count as work for the podcast.
Watch this. Yeah.
Now that's so typical. He wants to do it when it's on his time. You
Exactly.
can't say it and then have him piggyback.
Maybe
on
I'm
it.
the one who's
You
discriminating
just
against
ruined
Alaska,
it.
and
Ow!
I did that on
for
purpose.
Alaska guy. What was
Sorry,
his name?
all you,
Daryl.
both of you in Alaska.
Daryl.
Yep.
Daryl.
Yep.
Sorry,
Sorry,
you are being
Josh's
discriminated
fault.
against.
I just hit my elbow.
No, it's not discrimination.
Hey, got
Honestly,
a
the
very,
lower 48.
very nice email from a guy from Pastor EJ for some significant prayer, and it's a long one. We're not going to read it, but he said, Josh, maybe you could put this as a link,
Okay.
and people could be praying for him.
Yeah.
And he even said maybe Josh can print this out and use it in his prayer posture. At this point, I'll take anything. But one of the things I
So
was
it's a
going to
real
say
serious
is
prayer
that
request
we
then.
do have people at Simply Youth Ministry praying for people.
Yeah.
We do. If you called in, Jack
Brazel prays every time he takes a sales call.
prays a prayer of thanksgiving that he gets to keep his job.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Brazel.
So Matt, anyway, that was kind of we were going down a nice road
was
of
a
saying
serious
we would
path.
love to be
Yeah.
praying for you. Send us your emails. We have people that are praying here at
Yeah.
Simply Youth Ministry,
Yeah.
and even if you want to pray with somebody live, you can call in, and
Yeah, absolutely.
Jack would love. Winds up doing that a lot.
I'll put
Okay.
that up on the links.
Okay. You're gonna do links.
I'll do links.
How many?
What's a prayer request? I mean, is there a one-sentence description of what
No,
the prayer
it's
request
a
is?
long one.
Is the guy lost his job? Is he got a youth pastor?
It's really the heart of it is his teens need to get restored in their relationship with God. That's the quick gist of it. My biggest request that you pray for this small but determined youth ministry. My teens really need an encounter with God. So that there's a lot more to it. We'll put it up on the links page.
This is from John Buckner, Grace Community Church, Sacramento, California. Sacramento, that's for our Northern California friends.
NoCal.
And Northern California, just a little state history right now for actually it should be known throughout the country.
Yeah.
This last weekend there was 3 championship football games, high school football games. Northern California versus Southern California. 3 divisions, Division 1, 2, and 3, based on
Yeah.
size. Southern California, Division 1 champions. Southern California, Division 2 champions.
Really?
Southern California, Division 3 champions.
Really?
Wow.
They
What
won them all.
school?
USC
That is exciting.
ranked number 4.
I just thought they're doing a state deal in Southern California,
What
dominate
schools?
the number 1 team in the country, number 1 high school team in the country.
Yeah.
This is why they say you got to play the game, even
Yeah.
though you're an underdog. Number 1 team in the country, De La Salle, lost
They lost,
to
yeah.
Canyon who wasn't, a national powerhouse, lost to a local.
So basically, what you're saying is this guy from Sacramento,
Has-
we
has-
own you.
Yeah,
We
loser,
own you.
loser high school football. Anyway, he's probably a great guy with a great youth ministry. I'm currently in the process of putting
Right.
together my 2007 crowd service calendar, more specifically a preaching calendar. I was checking to see if you had any tips of how y'all go about planning for upcoming messages. I understand the importance of prayer and letting the Holy Spirit direct the ministry. I just wanted to see if you had any practical things that you do in planning. Matthew,
Prayer's not practical.
What?
that new
Continue.
that new church will be flying soon.
Oh gosh.
Send your
he
donations
just
to-
Maybe that's why it needs to be a house church. There's going to be a few people there.
that'll be okay.
That'd be great.
That
So
would
how do
be
you plan
okay.
a calendar
Just
for the
walk
year?
with them.
How do you plan a calendar for the year? Look, a
Are
calendar.
you about to walk out of this podcast?
No, I'm not even at all.
Prayer's not practical. Go ahead, Matt. Explain your answer.
How to plan the calendar?
Or that prayer's not practical.
Oh, I just thought it was funny. He said, I'm sure praying, blah blah blah.
Oh, if you had any prayer.
but-
So, it
but-
was sarcasm.
Yes, he was
Ah.
saying,
It's a lost form of
yeah, I
humor on
understand
the
that
show.
prayer is important, but
I
do
just
you
wanted to
have
see
any
if you had
practical
things? Okay.
Yeah, I was listening to the email.
I see.
Way to go! Which I know you were reading. It's hard to read and listen at the same time, but you guys have no excuse.
I got it. I just was bored by it.
Now, now you know how people
I'm
feel to listen to
curious
us.
How you would plan a
Okay,
calendar.
so
I
how
am
would you plan a
interested
calendar
in
for the
that
year? Let's
answer.
just cut to the answer instead of whatever. What would you do?
How would I plan the calendar?
Well, let's talk about how we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one, when we decided we needed a plan, we had about 3 years worth of sermon data.
Stuff we had already taught.
Yeah, and so what we did is what I did is I put the whole 3 years together onto a little spreadsheet and looked kind of what topics that we sort of repeated and just kind of naturally went to a lot. And from there, with that and based on what I thought was important, we made a list of here are some things we should hit every year, here are some things we should hit every 2 years. And I even went so far as to say, here's some things we should hit every 3 years, like just kind of some obscure type stuff so that's how we did it. I mean,
Well, wouldn't you say also we had broader headings, Matt? We had, we would do some relational series, whether it be friendship, parenting, sex series, that type of thing. We'd do some theological or doctrine series where we would hit some different doctrines, whether it be sanctification or we'd be talking, whatever.
Definitely.
And then we had some Bible series where we do
Right, Life of
Old
Christ.
Testament's greatest hits, Life of Christ. So
Right.
we were trying to, teach Bible events and stories, theology, and some
And-
relational.
Do you think some topical too, where you throw in like a sex
Yeah,
series
some
every
felt
year, and a
needs
Christmas
type
series
stuff,
every year, something
you
like
know.
Yeah, sex series would fall under relational.
that? Well,
Is a sex series an every year thing? Twice a year thing?
Absolutely, it's an every year thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
It
more
was-
than that,
No,
though?
no,
Yeah.
Every year.
unless my 2 teenagers are in the youth, there, then it seems to make its way into most
Okay. You
messages.
get every message.
Yeah, every week. Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is too. It's just the discernment, the passion that's on your own heart. Like, what do you think somebody should know, or what do you think somebody should hear, and to just make a list and to brainstorm it and not worry about trying to schedule it out and all that stuff. But we also do stuff in community. Where you and I would talk about it together. We bring some other people in and say, hey, what do you think needs to be taught? And obviously, grace. We'd focus on grace like usually 3 or 4 times a year. I mean, we wouldn't always say, hey, it's the grace week, or the grace series.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the things that we felt were important, things that were on our heart, that's kind of how
Well,
we
just
planned.
off the top of my head, would there be another category other than relational, theological, or Bible?
Well, Jesus, you would usually do like a life of Jesus,
I would put that under Bible, though. I'd put that under.
Did you ever do like seasonal?
Yeah,
Did
well-
you ever have a Christmas and an Easter, and do you do like a holiday, like a back to school?
We had a list of
anything like that?
one-shots.
Flag.
Yeah, we do
Yeah.
a thing called one-shot wonders that every once in a while we might
Yeah.
do a 3 or 4 week series,
Yeah,
and if
right.
we feel like, gosh, that's homecoming weekend,
Right.
let's don't start a series on that weekend.
Let me ask you a related question. Let's say some big event happens in the world, like a 9/11 or a hurricane or something. Would you drop a series?
Absolutely
Or
not. The
pause the
schedule
series.
is holy.
I mean, what would you do? Like, I mean, you planned this all out a year
I
in
mean, you
advance.
prayed before the schedule, so obviously the schedule
Yeah.
is
I
holy.
got that joke. Well for
I would
the
say
average
that
mind.
to me, a schedule, you know, Matt will know this because it used to drive him crazy until he realized that that's just the way we were going to do it. Matt's job was to plan us as far out in advance as he could so we could gather materials, so we could have time to think. But if we wanted to ditch a series because something else was more
Totally.
on the top of my heart, we'd ditch it. If there was an event that took place, you know, there's a suicide in the school, or, you know, obviously 9/11 or Katrina or something like that, then
Yeah.
you pause that and you know, why does God let bad things happen? You do a series in that. So, yeah.
Definitely. And I think people are different too. Some people love schedules and some people don't. You know, I mean, some people, like Sean, who does high school ministry now at Saddleback, does a lot of teaching, you know, third of the time or something. I don't know what he does. I mean, he makes a schedule, and unless something major comes up, he sticks to it because that's
Yeah.
just more of his personality type.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, your personality type is to more, you know, a
Random.
week or 2 weeks. I don't know about 2 weeks. It's like a crazy. But, you know, you kind of go more like the schedule's there and it's a guide,
Yeah.
but it's more like a suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's to get people thinking in that direction, but if we want to change something.
Yeah.
Monday Cano, Centro Cristiano, Dallas, Texas. I watched the Andy video. It was great. My question, you seem to have so much fun doing what you all do. How can I create that fun with my team?
Don't suck.
Hire Matt.
Yeah, because Matt is fun.
Nothing says fun like hiring Matt.
Yeah. I would great. I think, you know, to me, if Mondi Cano, you know, fun is one of those things we talked about earlier. Is if your leader has a value
Right.
of that, then you're going to attract people that, you know, are fun. I mean, I can remember fun is obviously a value to me, and laughter and all of that, and you know, those are the people I want to be around. I remember when Josh, you and I met, I would just went, man, this guy's fun. I
Yeah.
like him. I don't
Yeah,
care.
what
I
do
don't
you
care if
do
he
to
works.
create
Let's
fun?
just.
Because
What-
really,
I
it
don't
got so
really-
much more fun around here when he came on the team.
Well, Andy's not fun.
Fun.
Andy's not fun. Andy's just walked out of the room a little bit ago.
To go work.
Yeah, he's over there. You
He's
can probably
working.
still see it. I don't think you can see him right there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But Andy's not fun. I mean, Andy will participate
He
in fun.
participates in
He
fun.
tried to scare me today,
Right.
but
Yeah, right.
Josh probably.
Fun is more
Would
like a
have
schedule
fun.
item for Brazel.
I need
It is,
to. I
though.
need to schedule in fun.
Yeah.
Well, he has
Yeah,
fun.
it's-
He's fun to be with.
It's time, you know, in the next 10 minutes. We're
Yeah,
gonna
but
have fun.
until Natalie brought up toilet paper, so that I could blow my nose
Yeah.
when I went into Andy's office and went and shot it on his desk.
It's not
You got it on a
That
desk.
was fun. See, I think, oh, that was fun.
It was
And Natalie
funny.
was a little grossed out.
It was
Yeah.
on the carpet. You wiped it in with your shoe.
So
There was a lot of it.
that's fun.
That's not
That's
fun in
funny.
my world.
That's border.
Did you think that was
it's
funny?
border on mean.
Did you think that was funny?
Oh, so it was fun and funny
Maybe
the same
funny.
thing. That's
Maybe
a good
funny,
question
but-
too.
That might be a better
Gross.
question.
Yeah,
was the-
probably.
Because not
the
everybody's
overall.
funny.
But let me ask you this: did I turn my back to you so you wouldn't see it?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
But
So I was
did
not
you
the
somehow
target
have a
audience
cone
for
of
it.
silence so she didn't hear it too? Because
No.
there's an audio component to that.
I know, but I
It's more
wasn't-
powerful than the visual.
She was about 20 feet away. I didn't.
20
It wasn't
feet.
intended.
There's
it,
not 20 feet.
It
in this
wasn't.
office.
It wasn't intended for her. It was intended to make Brazelton laugh.
Yeah.
But you had just directed to me, Natalie, is there any tissue? No, let me check. So I was still a part of
I thought you were kind of walking away.
She was too busy prepping the podcast.
Yeah, I was.
Oh
How do you
man!
create
Now this
fun?
is fun.
I'm dead serious. How do you create fun? Because I already tapped into one kind of your humor.
Which is
What else will you unveil for us?
I don't really know the answer.
You
I-
can't take yourself seriously. That is
Yeah.
part of it. I mean,
Well, that is definitely one of our values here. Is that
You
we take
can't-
God serious, but not one another.
Well,
yeah. I
and-
mean, in my own mind, I take myself very seriously, but I know that I'm demented and warped, and so I
Don't
just
you
try and
think-
tell myself not
Don't you
to.
think part of it is people get so focused on the task? And I know tasks are important. We all have lists of stuff we have to do. But you get so focused on tasks that it's at the expense of relationships and people and fun and camaraderie and going out for lunch because you're so focused on tasks you can't break. And so
Yeah.
you end up in a working environment that's all about task. Now, some people would criticize me, Doug, and say that maybe I should focus more on task.
Sure.
But you can get the tasks done and still have fun.
Yeah. Have I criticized you?
Not at
I'm
all.
just not exactly sure what you do. I'm not criticizing you. Is that
Neither am
criticism?
I.
He's
Neither am
building fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little bit critical. But I'll say he's already got something going for him already. He says, P.S. Big Mexican from the front row. And nothing says fun like Big Mexican.
That's funny.
I think that's
See,
great.
Bondi is on his way.
That's great. Big guys are always
Well,
a little bit
He
more
came
fun
to
than
BYM,
little
and he-
guys.
every email he identifies himself as the big Mexican from the front row.
There is
Well, did
a.
you
that's
say
funny.
don't be afraid of being corny?
No. Did
Be
he
afraid-
say that?
No, I'm asking.
No.
You know, like
Corny
you
just
work
makes people
in-
uncomfortable.
Really?
Wow.
But let's be honest. That fun, for some people, fun is a personality deal. Where
Very true.
the type of
Right.
fun that we have here,
Right.
we have said many times, we believe this, that just being together and talking, whether one person listened or nobody listened, we have fun doing this.
Right.
Right.
Well, some people watch this and they think we're idiots,
Right.
and that this is the dumbest thing.
and that's
be
how
correct.
Yeah, they are
They,
correct,
but they review it on iTunes even. It'll say, I just don't
You
get
guys
it.
are
But
Yeah.
they don't
idiots.
like that. I mean, it's, yeah.
But see, that's where fun is so subjective
Right.
to people. So, for example, when I walked into Andy's office and there wasn't tissue, and I did my little snot rocket
Funny.
on his desk, which bounced off his desk and hit the floor.
Oh.
Now, part of fun for you, too, is exaggerating the story.
Well, and the fact that
Ceiling.
I could shock. Shock is fun to me.
Shock
Shock
is
is a
very
form of
fun.
humor.
Okay, but not everybody likes shock. So every time I speak and I do something that I think is funny, 90% laugh. Well, I always get that 10% criticism.
That send you an email afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or tell
That's
their
right.
mom.
You know,
You can please some of the
Homeschool.
people some of the time.
Homeschool.
yeah.
That's right.
So I think it is so subjective, but I do think it comes down from the leader. I was on a team one time that will go nameless, and the leader was recording something, and this leader was wanting to record this to become a product, and there was a bunch of us sitting around, and we started laughing, and he was like, shh. He kind of did one of these,
Oh.
like pointed to the thing that
Fun
he didn't
killers.
want any humor, laughter in the recording, and I thought, we're just wired different.
Yeah.
So,
Well, maybe you guys were talking about cancer or something.
or maybe not.
Maybe not.
All right. Well, speaking of fun, let's bring this fun to some closure. One
funny.
simple question I recently. Hey, did you get the shout out I left on your desk?
No, no,
Okay,
no.
we'll get it real quick.
Ah,
I just recently purchased a 30 gigabyte video player. It only plays the audio and not the video. How can I get it to work? They can't, right?
What the heck?
Okay.
Right click, hit convert to iPod, you're all set.
After listening to episode 36, this is Kevin Massey. And Kevin Massey, if you're watching, all I have to say is this. All right.
That's not saying anything, though.
All I have to communicate is.
And the people on the audio,
That don't,
sorry about that.
Yeah, and they don't know
Yeah,
Kevin
this
Massey.
is Kevin's
Kevin
has a
Massey,
stiff
one
neck.
one of the dearest humans alive.
He can only look to the right.
Yeah, he's got a neck problem.
You're making fun of somebody with
I'm
a
not.
neck
I've
problem.
made fun of him to his face. He's one of my
Well, you're
favorite.
doing it to his face right now.
He's one of my
And
favorite
A
guys.
few of his friends.
Yeah. He is in Leesville, South Carolina.
Does
He
he have a
is.
special
He
car?
is. If there is somebody that is on staff at Simply without being on staff, it would
Yeah,
be Kevin
This
Massey.
is the guy.
Kevin Massey goes to our conferences and works in the bookstore with Andy.
Hmm.
He is just a gem of a human. After listening to episode 36, I felt that my brother Josh needed some help coming to terms with his problem BA, blogging addiction. Here's a link to help. So why don't you put that up on
All right, we'll link to that too.
and maybe get some help.
You need
Top
an
10
AA group.
signs you have a blogging addiction. Fun.
Yep.
That's right.
All right.
One
true.
blog is too much, and 1,000 blogs isn't enough. That's what I like to say.
Are you
I
still
just-
blogging?
Not so much.
Yeah.
I've been crazy lately, so.
Have you busy driving? What do you do? What do you do like with your days?
I just drive in circles. Yep, that's what Mazunga means. No, what do I do with my days? It seems like I have been doing so many meetings.
Trying to raise support and get this thing started.
No, not yet. That's going to be, this week probably.
All right.
Actually, I was going to raise some support during this podcast, but it took so long.
Oh. Well, I
Man.
can link to your church website though.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because youth pastors are always looking to support
Yeah.
something.
Where can I send all my extra money?
No.
Well, let's do this.
Fun.
Let's say the closeout. We started this year somewhere in February,
Yeah.
this podcast year.
Yeah.
I know we started the actual year in January, Matt, because you're
Yes.
probably thinking
Yeah.
that.
Already thinking logically, going what?
we started with an idea we should do it, and then we did our test idea, which was episode 00.
Yep.
And we were kind of a weekly. We were kind of a weekly deal. A little bit of Africa here to pause them during the summer.
Yep.
Matt's life change threw us into a little bit of his tailspin,
But 37, 38 episodes in a year is pretty good.
not bad. So
1 year
in
in the can.
07, we will start up again. Maybe the first or
Well,
second
and the year's
week.
not done until February because we started in February, so we still
Yeah,
have a couple
true.
more months.
If we were doing a 12 fiscal year,
yeah, 12 fiscal
but in the
year.
You know
calendar
what I
year,
think we should do? Remember that restaurant we went to where we came up with the idea?
yeah.
Maybe today for lunch, we go to that restaurant and celebrate a year of podcasting.
Take me out for lunch.
It's like a fun little Greek place.
Okay, Josh
where we-
Jr.
He's taught me well.
That's
He's fun.
fun.
This is fun,
He's
guys.
fun.
We're going to lunch. See ya in
I gotta say,
2007.
it's always the non-fun people that are asking, "How do I be fun?"
You know what? We
You know, you didn't ask that. I'm
I
just
wish
saying.
I wish we could have taped Matt's.
Did
we
you
did a
ask
little.
that?
We did a little.
We got an email that asked that, not you.
She kind of asked it though.
But she kind of
Whoa.
drove.
Really quick though, you
Oh.
you want to talk about Matt a little bit?
No, not really. I
Are
was
you a
going
fun
to,
person?
and I thought
I'm
about
a
it.
very fun person.
Bye.
I wanted him to talk
Wait,
about
we have a
the
shout
Oscar
out.
office.
Shout out?
Yes, we're doing an
Okay,
office.
Matt, do you want to do that little hum song that you
We're
would
doing a shout. This is from Chad Payette, and he's the one with West Nile meningitis. You can Google him and find out more about that. But he wants to give a shout out to Tim DeArmond, Liz Host, and Cody Burns, and to the Elm. Keep going. To the Elm Grove Baptist Church in Bonner Springs, Kansas.
All right, shout out. Hey, Merry Christmas, and when in doubt,
That's so sad.
have fun.
Have fun.
Have
We're
fun.
going to lunch.
Have
Bye,
fun.
everybody. Greek food sounds so good.
It does.
Like-
Would you forward that to me?
Daphne's?
Follow Jesus.